Hi, everybody. I'm going to walk you through registering to receive your voting ballot overseas when you're abroad. You first need to go through that checklist that you should have access to make sure you have all the materials required as you fill out the federal government request form. You'll need to know, for example, your mailing address overseas, of course, have access to your social security number or driver's license, and make sure you have either registered to vote or have checked your registration before you go. It's not required, but it's always helpful to have that all established before you go abroad. And then you also want to think about and, of course, have access to the address back home where you want to vote. So you want to have, for example, if you want to vote in Texas, Houston, or Harris County elections, you would use your dorm address. You can also, vote if you're out of state of Texas, vote in another state, but you're going to need to know that address as well. Once you have those items in order, you can go to the Federal Voting Assistance Program webpage, as you see here, and begin filling out that postcard that the federal government receives where it supports overseas citizens in their voting process. So you can access this in one of two ways. You can go to the Overseas Citizen Voter, which you are, and once you click on that link, it gives you a lot of helpful information about the process. But you can just jump right in and click on the state that you want to vote in. We'll use Texas as an example. So you'll click on Texas. And what you're going to want to do is make sure you have these deadlines written down somewhere so that you don't um, miss out on the opportunity to vote. So if you don't register by a certain date, if you don't request the overseas ballot by a certain date, and if you don't return that ballot by a certain date, you'll have problems voting or having your vote count. So we want to make sure that you abide by those deadlines. But you can then just start your FPCA, which is just that online request for your ballot. Um, so you will need to print and sign and send what you fill out here online. Um, and you will read the Privacy Act statement and accept. And then, because this is an example in Texas, you're going to want to find the county in which you're registered. So we'll use Harris County as an example. I apologize for the scrolling there. And you're going to want to click that you are a U.S. citizen living outside the country and that you intend to return. And then you're going to begin filling out your information. Again, you'll need to know your social security number. That's the preferred document, again, because it's a federal form. You can request all the, if you're abroad for a whole semester, for example, you can request all the ballots for elections through December of 2024 in this example, or the appropriate year. And which might include primary elections at some point, depending on when you're abroad, in which case you would designate which political party you want to vote for. Um, and then again, you'll need to provide the address that you want the ballot mailed to abroad, and then also make sure you have the correct address back in the United States that corresponds with your address for registration in which the county in which you're registered. Um, so go through this process of filling out this information to request your ballot overseas. Again, you'll need to print out what you've um, produced here. The government will also send you then the ballot. it's paid for, it's stamped, everything is made to be very easy for you to fill out the ballot and return it and have it counted. So the last thing I wanted to show you is that in the process of mail in ballots, you can also track where your ballot is in its process of being counted. And so you can go to harrisvotes.com and begin, that process of tracking your ballot. So under voter there, I clicked on vote by mail, and here's a mail ballot tracking. Um, Most counties these days have a way to track it. If you're not sure, if you're not in Harris or if you're in another state altogether, it doesn't hurt to call that clerk's office and for the county in which you're registered and ask them, how do I track my mail-in ballot? And they will probably have an answer for you. But again, you just put your name, birth date, and either your driver's license or the last four of your social, and it will um, show you where in this process of your ballot is and being received and counted. So if you have any concerns about uh, your ballot, making it back to the states, and going through that counting process, you will be able to track it. With anything, if there are any questions, you can contact anybody from Rice Votes. I'm Veronica. My email is vr33@rice.edu, and we're more than happy to help you out not only with registering to vote before you leave, but making sure that you feel comfortable and confident going through this request for your um, ballot being sent to you while you're abroad. Thanks so much for your time.